From Pale Lifestyles, and today is the 3rd of January 2020, start of a new year and a new decade. And there's currently two types of people out there at the moment. Those that are sitting there wondering what this year and this decade and the next few years are going to hold, or wondering what they will hold. And then the other type of people that are sat there with their goals and their notebooks and deciding what this year and this decade will hold for them. They are deciding, they are making the choice, they are taking control, as opposed to the first group of people that are wondering, that have this perceived lack of choice and lack of control. And it's hard because there's many of us that see life as something that happens to us, as opposed to life is what you make it. Particularly those of us that have suffered abuse, I think it's really hard to truly believe that life isn't something that just happens. It's hard to believe that our life is what you make it, that it's completely made up of the choices and decisions that we've made, and that we've got full control over our present and future. And understandably so, because we wouldn't have chose to get involved in an abusive relationship, and we certainly had no control when we were in the relationship, or so it seems. It's still something I'm trying to work out myself. However, when you look back, I mean, you did choose to leave. You took control. Now, I'm not saying you should have done it any sooner. I was in an abusive relationship for a long, long time, and made the choice and took control at one point, and then ended up going back. We made a choice and we took control at the very right time, and that's why we're here now, is through that choice and control. But I do understand that it is really hard to believe, isn't it? Like that our whole life is of our own making, and so I suppose that when we have gone through abuse and that, it is easier just to believe that life is just something that happens to us. So we'll just go with the flow and see what happens. No element of planning, no element of choice, no element of control. I mean, despite the fact that you make small choices and small decisions every day, and we all have to, in order to get through our lives, but from a sort of goal, success, deciding where our future's taking us point of view, it's much easier just to believe that life just has happened. That's it, and we've got little or no control over, what's coming in these future years. Now, as much as we can't change our past, and it is something that happened to us, we can stop the past, and I spoke about this before. We can stop the past from dictating our present and future. So we can make our life what we make it, despite our past. For so many of us, we spend years, don't we, blaming our past on where we are today, or on ruining our lives, or this person ruining our lives. At the end of the day, our past is done. It's dusted. The only thing that's keeping our past alive is us. It's our thoughts and memories that are keeping the past alive, that are keeping the pain going. And we have got control over that. We can choose what to believe. We can choose whether our future, whether this year is going to be the same as every other year, using our past as excuses and reasons not to be further forward in our lives. Or we can take control. We can choose to accept that our past is our past, is our past, and it's happened. It's done. It's over, and we can recognise that now. Our thoughts and that our memories are what is shaping our future. So in a way, we are taking control, and we are choosing what our future brings, because we're choosing to keep hold of our past by keeping these painful thoughts and memories alive. Now, I know, again, for survivors of domestic abuse, it's not easy to just start making choices and taking control. I know it's not as easy as that. Making choices, making decisions, taking control, requires self-confidence. It requires belief in ourselves. It requires us to listen to ourselves. and to put ourselves out there, to maybe go against the flow, to maybe do something that we think others might not like. Um, and that doesn't come easy to us. Previously, in our abusive relationships, going against the flow, putting ourselves out there, expressing an opinion, making choices, trying to take control has resulted in a lot of pain, embarrassment, and humiliation. So, it's understandable that we find making choices and taking control, difficult. It really is. Um, it making our own choices requires us to feel worthy, of success, of paving our own way, of making our own decisions. It requires us to feel important enough to take control, and to decide, where our lives are going. And it doesn't come naturally when you've been put down for years, when you've been made to feel worthless and unimportant consistently on numerous occasions. Um, and it doesn't come naturally to somebody who's been abused, because not only we were abused in the past, but our thoughts, and our memories that are keeping this past alive are continuously still damaging the relationship we've got with ourselves. They're keeping us in that place where we feel unworthy, unimportant, where we don't listen to ourselves because we don't trust ourselves. Or even if we do, we're scared to put ourselves out there, because what if we get hurt? What if people ridicule us? What if people put us down? What if we're being stupid? So it doesn't come naturally to us. But we can make our life is what your life is what you make it. It truly, truly is. You can choose to whether or not to continue to see your past as just one of pain, humiliation, and embarrassment, or whether to look back at your past and think, do you know what? Yeah, I accept it. My past is my past. I was abused. I'm not making light of this in any way, shape, or form. I'm really not. However, it is gone, it is over, and we can choose to see it as something that just happened to us, that it's done, it's dusted, and recognize that it's these thoughts and memories that are keeping our past in our present and future, and holding us back from making our lives the life that we want. Going for our ideal life, our ideal careers, our ideal relationships. And we start, as I always say, by working on the relationships with ourselves. We start by making small choices that we do anyway. We make small choices, or a bit bigger choices, make a bit bigger decisions. We treat ourselves with kindness and compassion. And we understand that, yes, our past, has had an effect of where we are now, but it's not going to dictate any longer where we go. We've got a choice. We can either continue to cling on to the past, to cling on to those painful thoughts and memories, or we can put it where it needs to be, in the bloody past, draw a line under it, recognize when the debilitating feelings of low self-worth, and low self-confidence and feeling unworthy, recognize where they have come from, and realize that they no longer serve you, and that you don't need to feel like that anymore. It's not as easy as just saying, okay, I don't need to feel like that anymore. I'm not going to feel like that anymore. I know it takes a long time, but you have to start. You've got to start somewhere. So you don't see yourself as, right, okay, being from, using the past, and seeing the past as pain, to, completely being confident, and putting yourself out there and saying, yeah, my past, I was in an abusive relationship, and that's done and dusted. It plays no, I'm completely free. It plays no part. You're not going to get there overnight. But unless you choose and make the choice to take your life under control, to claim your life back, you're never going to get there. So what is 2020 going to hold for you? Is it going to hold you to continue to cling on to your past in a painful way, full of embarrassment and shame? Or are you going to put your past behind you, see it as one of strength and courage, of love, of good fortune, that we, myself included, we're out of that relationship. There's many, many women and men that are still in that situation, that have been in it for years and years and years, and still can't see a way out. And hope that that they do. But we're the lucky ones. We've got out. We've got our freedom. Now you've got to make the most. You need to choose to make the most of your freedom, and you can. Not saying it's going to happen overnight, but you start making small choices, small decisions, realizing that you are in control of your present and your future. And you're in control of how you think about your past. And by controlling and recognizing those thoughts about how, memories from your past, and changing them to thoughts and memories of strength, courage, resilience, um, and appreciating and recognizing the fact that you've got yourself out there, you've given yourself back this freedom. Now you need to make the most of it. Life is what you make it. You need to grab hold of it, make your choices, take control, and decide what 2020 and these next amazing coming years are going to hold for you. You can do it. I'm doing it. You can do it. You really can. Thanks a lot for listening, and get out there, go for it.